Hello, hello, hello. We're going live. Okay, so today we're going to do some interview prep with some people. We've got Dan, I think we've got Mustafa, I think we've got Pav, Mohammed, and a bunch of other people. Yep. So feel free to ask any questions in the meantime, and then we'll get some interview prep for some people as well at the same time. Hey guys, hello, 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 welcome. So today we're going to do some interview prep for some people. I think Dan has an interview coming up tomorrow. We've got Mustafa who has an interview coming up on the 11th, and then we've got Pav who has an interview coming up, and Mohammed as well. So whilst we wait for the people who have the interviews coming up, feel free to ask any questions that you have with regards to breaking into tech, so we can answer your questions. But we will also do interview prep with those guys. Hey Zishan, hey Just, hey User33, hey Jin, Gurveen Chandu, how's everyone doing? Hey Ethan. Hey Raheel. Okay, so is Dan on the call? Because I know he has an interview coming up tomorrow. What I would suggest you do, Dan, if you're on the call, is join in as a guest, and we will get you prepped for your interview on Friday. So if you guys don't know, Dan is one of our students in our paid community. He has an interview coming up with a really big company, SDR BDR role, and basically tomorrow I think is his final round interview. So what we're going to do today is if he's on the call, we'll get him prepped, and then we'll answer questions in the meantime. I think the guys that have interviews have not joined, so if anyone wants to come in as a guest, have a conversation, happy to talk to you guys for our conversation. Or if you have any questions, feel free to pop it below as well.
Just gonna move this a bit down.
Is there questions already, or?
We're from the UK. Someone's asking where you're from.
Okay, so guys, the whole point of the live is to answer you guys' questions about breaking into tech sales, commercial roles in tech companies. So if you guys have any specific questions, feel free to comment it below, or if you want to jump on and have a conversation, more than happy to do that.
I think.
Do you need a degree? Yes, you do. You do need a degree. 99% of companies, 80 to 90% of companies do want a degree. But if you don't have a degree, then you can still break into tech sales roles. But most of the time, you do need a degree.
You're moving a lot, so it's shaking like crazy. I think it's the table.
Okay.
Because it's wobbly.
Ah, okay. Sorry.
I asked a question. Yeah, we're from the UK. I don't know why your thing's been filtered.
Yeah, no idea. Okay, so does anyone else has any questions with regards to breaking into tech? And then if Dan, Mustafa, Mohammed, and Pav, I think they have interviews coming up. So if you guys are on the call, feel free to jump in as a guest, and we will have like a conversation. Hey Dazzle, I think Dazzle is in our group chat, right?
That's the video, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Hey Dazzle, how's it going? It's okay, just leave it, it's fine.
Do you want to come in the live? Do you want to give your expert opinion?
So if you don't have a degree and you don't want to go to uni, is there apprenticeships? Yeah, there's definitely apprenticeships. Like big tech companies like Google. I know Google for a fact offers apprenticeships. I'm not sure how many apprenticeship spots they have, but I know there is loads of apprenticeships in tech that you can apply for. In fact, what you should do is you should check out a company called Multiverse. They specialize in apprenticeships, so they basically help young people under the age of, I don't know, 25 or something, get into tech companies or get really good jobs in general through apprenticeship programs. So the company's called Multiverse. Google that and you'll see how to sign up to them. I personally haven't worked with them, but I know that they are the biggest apprenticeship provider or the biggest apprenticeship middleman to really big companies. So you can definitely go to multiverse.com, sign up as a student, and you'll get referrals.
I think it's shaking again. I don't know why.
Okay, I'll just phone lean onto the table. I think there was a guy asking about cybersecurity.
Yeah, junior. So I have a cybersecurity degree and I have CompTIA Security Plus. Currently work as a help desk analyst.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all he said.
He didn't ask another question.
Oh, right now he's just asked another question. How long would it take me to get into it?
So are you junior? Are you referring to tech sales roles, or what kind of roles are you referring to? Because if you're asking about cybersecurity jobs in tech, we're not really experts in that. What we specialize in is helping people break into commercially focused roles in tech companies. Yeah, tech sales. Okay, perfect. So do you have a degree? Do you have work experience in sales? Because if you do, obviously that's going to make your process a lot easier. But the fact that you've got certification in cybersecurity is the obvious thing I would say to you is focus on applying to cybersecurity companies. One of the biggest cybersecurity companies in the UK is called Darktrace. And if you just Google Darktrace right now, go to Glassdoor. And you'll see the kind of salaries that Darktrace pays to their salespeople. So cyber companies like Darktrace are really good, and in fact, there's thousands of cybersecurity companies that you can work for in tech sales. You will probably start off as an SDR, BDR if you have no experience, which is basically the role of someone who is calling up customers and booking appointments, and then the account executive closes the deal. So that's what I would recommend for you based on what you've told me. Happy to get you on as a guest to the live, and then we can answer your questions in more detail.
So Iman is saying, I have a law degree. Can I get into tech with this?
Yeah, so actually, Laura was a qualified solicitor. She left her law job to get into tech sales as well. Obviously, she saw me doing tech sales for like the last 4 years. She qualified as a solicitor, and then she realized the money wasn't great and the work-life balance was terrible. So the fact that you have a really good degree, or if you're a qualified lawyer, that increases your chances of getting into tech sales by a lot, because people that hire for tech sales, they want people that are motivated, inspired, very clever, very sharp, super hardworking, and all of those qualities are within you if you've already done a law degree, right? Because law is super hard. You have to read a lot. You have to ingest a lot of information. So the fact that you have that background, what I would recommend for you as a lawyer is look into legal tech companies. So there's a really good legal tech company called Pocket Law. I actually interviewed with them at the beginning of the year. I didn't get the job, but I interviewed with them. They pay really good salaries. SDR, BDRs, 40, 45K base, account executives, 65, 75, 80K base salaries. So look into legal tech companies. There's loads of them. It would make your it would help you. It would improve the chances of you breaking into tech sales if you just focus on legal tech companies rather than all sorts of tech jobs or tech companies, because you're a lawyer already.
Would you recommend A-level maths for a tech job?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know. I mean, to be totally honest with you, if you're applying to to tech jobs, they're not really going to look at your A-levels. They're going to look at your work experience and the type of degree you've done and where you've worked and that kind of stuff.
Person's probably like 16.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't really know.
What tech jobs pay 100K?
So
which countries as well?
So the highest salaries in tech are obviously in the US. So if you go to Glassdoor.com and you go to companies like AWS or Oracle or OpenAI, and then you go to account executives or sales roles, you'll see what kind of companies pay 100K salaries and in what countries and what type of companies. I don't even need to answer that question for you, because you can just go to Glassdoor or even LinkedIn and see the salaries for yourself. The good thing with US or American job listings is that they're legally required to write down exactly what the base salary and the commission on top is. So if you Google OpenAI account executive salaries, you'll see job listings and you'll see the exact salary that they're going to pay. Or even for like AWS account executive salaries.
Ethan is asking, how transparent are you with recruiters about your pay expectations, ideal company, etc.?
Sorry, what's the question? Something popped up.
Someone said there's so many fake accounts of Lara. Really? This is the thing. I don't know
That's
what's
crazy.
going on. I just found out like the other day that there's a fake account of me, and it's because somebody sent it to me. Somebody reached out to them and said hi after I was talking with her, and she's also does tech sales. And I was like, no, that's not me. And they block me. So they completely block me. So I don't know they exist. It's only when you guys tell me. But this is my only account. I don't have any other accounts. So I tried to get verified, but I think you need loads of like articles to be written about you in order to be verified. I put in like my passport and everything, but yeah, I can't get that done just yet.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. By the way, if anyone has loads of questions, jump on as a guest and we can have a conversation instead of answering your questions in the comments, because I need to have the full context. We need to have the full context before we can actually like give you some good advice. Okay, so jump on as a guest and we can have a proper conversation instead of just going by the comments that you have in the comments section. So who wants to jump on as a guest? Do we have anyone that wants to jump on as a guest?
So Cash is...
Okay, so Dan is back actually. So Dan, do you want to jump on as a guest and then I'll review the work that you've done for your interview? So for people on the call, if you don't know, Dan has actually got a final round interview for an SDR BDR role at a really good company. So tomorrow is his final round interview. In a tech sales SDR BDR interview process, you have a part of the interview, you have one round where you have to do either a cold call or a cold email or a presentation or a demo. So he's got that tomorrow. So what I will do is I'll invite Dan as a guest so you can jump on and explain to people the exact situation as well. I don't know if I can actually...
I think he has to request.
Okay, he has to request. Okay. He's not on the
There's quite a
request
lot
list.
of questions, by the way.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, that's fine. So yeah, Dan, feel free to jump on so we can give everyone full context. And then I'll do my best to help you with the interview that you've got coming up tomorrow. Okay, cool. So I can... How does he join again?
Are we following each other?
Yeah.
We're friends, so... I don't know. You might have to request, Dan.
Yeah, you might have to request to join as a guest.
Jin is looking for a SDR BDR role as well.
Hey, Jin, join our free community. Join our free community or DM Laura, and then we can help you out.
I'm a network engineer and currently on 55k, age 24.
Okay, he said request. Okay, perfect. Okay. Hey, there we go.
Okay.
Hi both, can you hear me?
How's it going?
Yeah, I'm great, thanks. How are you doing?
Good. So again, for everyone that doesn't know who Dan is, right? So we've been helping out Dan for the last few weeks. He's a recent graduate. I'm not going to mention where he studies, but he just finished his degree, and we've been working together for the last few weeks. You've never worked in tech, right, or in sales?
Yeah, no, I've got no technical background. I've got a bit of sales background, but not, business development specifically.
Okay, perfect. So he's never really had a B2B, business to business sales job before. He just graduated university. He's never worked in tech. So he's got a SDR BDR interview coming up with a really big company tomorrow. And what we're going to do today is we're just going to prep him for that final stage. But before I do that, Dan, you want to just give everyone some context on what's been happening with the interview process so far?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So I started applying to jobs maybe just over a month ago, I'd say, and I basically applied to loads and loads of jobs in about a week and a half. I eventually landed an interview. It was a final stage interview, and I didn't get it in the end. And because I'd done so much in those week and a half, I kind of burnt out. So I had about a week off. But now I'm back on it, and I've managed to get another interview final stage. And the one thing I've found is that if you tailor your CV perfectly, you'll land way more interviews. You don't have to waste the time getting rejected.
Exactly.
If you just sort your CV out in the first place, you'll skip all that pain anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So what about this interview? So how many stages have you had with them? Is this the final stage, or what? Tell us about the experience you've had so far with this particular company.
Yeah, I've had two so far. It was the HR, then it was the head of sales or something like that, and then this is I think it's the penultimate stage, but I think it's basically the last stage. Like, if I do well on this, I think the last one's more of a just, speak to the management team and get to know them. I don't think it's as much of a test.
Yeah. So the final one will probably be like a panel interview, right? So something like that. That's fine. So for this particular interview that you have tomorrow, they basically said to you, it's a skill-based interview. Okay. So you need to execute a 2-step outbound strategy with an aim to book a 15-minute meeting to understand the business objectives of a person from a particular company. The channels you must use are: one, email with the aim of booking a 15-minute call with Alex the following week to discuss how this company can align to their business needs, and then a follow-up phone call as Alex has not replied to your email. This will be a role play during the interview. We will run this twice, giving you feedback in between to give you a chance to make adjustments. So that's actually really good because they're giving you feedback in the interview. So they're making your life so much easier. That's great.
Yeah, apparently they do it to see if you're coachable, because they see if you implement the changes for the second, your second attempt.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, for people that don't know, right? So this is a SDR BDR role with a base of up to £40,000. You said.
Yeah, they said it was 40,000. Well, they didn't say if it was up to, but they said it was set at 40,000. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So £40,000 base and 60,000 on target earnings, right?
Yeah, it is uncapped, but it was on target.
Perfect. So if you actually do everything properly and hit your numbers, you probably make 60. That's good. And the brand name is really big on this company, so your job will be super easy compared to if you work at a shitty random ass company. Yeah. Okay, perfect. So you have to do basically two things, right? Write an email to this potential customer and then do a follow-up phone call because the guy didn't reply to your email to book a meeting, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Did they give you any other context or any other guidance on how they would want you to do it, or is it just literally up to you to do how you want to do it?
Yeah, so they gave me context on, like, they've sent me Alex's fake LinkedIn profile that it's I don't know which bit you've read, but he's basically the head of, what was it? Customer experience and services for Zalando.
Yeah.
The retail company.
Yeah.
And they've basically, like, I had a talk today with the HR woman, and she just said, in the cold email, make sure it's all personalized.
Yeah.
Like, that's the most effective way, and make sure it's got a good intro with a hook, she said.
Yeah.
Aside from that, it's like, do it yourself, I think.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So she's 100% right? So I'm assuming that Alex from Zalando is like a completely cold outbound prospect for the company, right? Yeah.
And you sent the cold email, but he didn't see it. But you still have to do the cold email, if that makes sense.
Yeah. That's fine. So because it's a completely new prospect, they've never spoken to your company before, any of that stuff. Firstly, ideally, it needs to be super, super short. Ideally, like 3 to 4 sentences long, right? So that's the max that it should be. I think people say it should be around 120 words max. That's what a lot of people say in terms of your cold email to completely new prospects that you've never spoken to. So ideally 120 words or less. That's the first thing.
Okay.
Second thing, when it comes to personalization, there's so many different ways that you can personalize, but you shouldn't personalize on bullshit things. Bullshit things like, hey, we went to the same school, or hey, I saw that you attended this particular event, or I saw that you also live in London. Anything like that, like personal stuff that is personalized in the cold email is not good. It's not effective. What I think is better is to personalize based on a current challenge that you see about Zalando or about the company. So, for example, maybe you saw recently on a report that they put out that they currently want to use, they want to implement AI, Gen AI, in their customer relationship management software tools, but they're struggling to do it because of XYZ problem. You could use that, and we could be like, hey, Alex, just saw the report from your head of marketing who's trying to implement Gen AI into your relationship management software, and it seems like you're struggling with it for XYZ reason. Well, what we do at this company that I work for is we basically help you fix that exact problem in this particular way. Would you be open to the idea, or would you be, so the call to action needs to be soft but also super clear. So it should never be, in my opinion, it should never be, hey, let's get on a 15-minute call tomorrow. It usually doesn't work like that, in my opinion. It doesn't work as well as saying, would you be interested to learning more, or would you be open to the idea of learning more, or can I just share some resources with you with regards to how we help previous customers? So it's called an interest-based CTA, an interest-based call to action.
Okay, so you're saying I shouldn't ever say, can we have another call? It's more of a soft ask. It's more like
it's an interest-based CTA, yeah. So back in the day, like 5-10 years ago, people always used to, like these cold email experts used to say, have like a super easy or super easy to understand and super hard call to action, like, hey, can we jump on a 15-minute call tomorrow? Whereas these days, because so many people have been cold emailed like crazy, what they recommend now is an interest-based CTA. So it could be like, hey, love to share some resources with you, or would love to share a case study on how we help this other particular customer. Like maybe your company worked with ASOS. I would love to share an example of how we helped ASOS with this exact problem, or would love to share, or would you be against the idea of us giving you a trial of the software that we have?
Right.
Basically an interest-based CTA, not a hardcore, let's get on a 15-minute call. That doesn't work, especially not in the first ever email.
Yeah, because I found a good example on their website. You know how companies tend to show, software companies, that is, how they've helped other companies, and they give case studies.
Yeah.
I found one, they worked with Decathlon, and they increased their customer satisfaction rates to 82%, reduced first call response times by 30%, all while managing a staggering 17-fold increase in ticket volume.
Yeah. So I would just pick one stat, the 82% increase in customer satisfaction ratings, and then basically that will be your value prop, right? So you have personalization based on a particular challenge or problem that you saw whilst researching them. Then you have your value prop and solution, and an interest-based CTA. Super simple, super short, 3 to 4 sentences, 120 words. It doesn't need to be that complicated, to be totally honest.
Okay.
Do you have an email that you've written that I can review for you now?
I've got one that I used, on, I think it was ChatGPT, crafted most of it, to be fair, but I can send you through, yeah.
By the way, ChatGPT, especially if it's a normal ChatGPT, it's really bad to use that because they make shit emails. Unless you use a fine-tuned bot version of ChatGPT for cold email specifically. So you have the ChatGPT store where you can buy other fine-tuned versions of ChatGPT. Only use those and never use the actual normal everyday version of ChatGPT because they write really crappy emails. No, that's fine. Everyone else can hear it. It's okay.
Okay.
So I can see there was loads of questions in the meantime.
They're probably gone by now.
Yeah.
Do you help people who just left college?
Yeah, I mean, if you mean university by college, then definitely DM Laura and we can get you inside our free community. We've helped people that just graduated, like Dan, the guy that's on the call. He's got an interview coming up tomorrow. We've helped him get this final round, well, not final round, but almost final round interview at a company. So we help loads of people that are just graduating, and even senior, like mid to senior professionals as well.
I've also noticed, you said this before, that foreign companies just pay so much better in general.
Yep.
Even for entry level jobs, because I had a call today as well. It was only the starter call, but it was for an American cybersecurity company, and they were paying 45 base, plus another 20 on top for an entry level job.
Yeah, exactly, dude. American companies pay like there's no tomorrow, and again, it's like a basic business reason for that, right? They just have the biggest bank accounts on the planet. They have the biggest venture capital money, the biggest VC money on the planet. So of course, they can pay loads of money, right? Yeah. I'm just looking at your email again for people that just joined in recently. Dan, who just graduated university, has an interview coming up tomorrow for a tech sales role. 40K base, £60,000 on target earnings. For the American people here, it's about $80,000 with on target earnings. So with this particular exercise, he needs to write a cold email and cold call the guy he just emailed to book a meeting for the company that he's interviewing for. So I'm just reading the email now. Hey, Alex, So this is the thing. So I think, when you go straight in with your value prop, I don't think that's a good idea. Okay, so it should be with the personalization first, okay, and then exactly what you do, right? So it should be the opposite of what you've done right now.
So just flip the paragraphs round.
Yeah, flip the paragraphs round. The call to action, the whole call to action is not good. Where you say, I'd love to schedule a 15-minute call, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Delete that. It should not be there. It should literally be, would you be against the idea of taking, would you be open, just trying to think of an interest-based CTA. So could I share that case study with you? Okay, simple as that, right? And then that's your call to action, right? Delete looking forward to hearing from you. It's super formal, right? People, think about, there was a study done where it said that the biggest executives get hundreds of new cold emails per day. Nobody replies to these sorts of emails. It should not be super formal. It's super, super simple, straight to the point, and it should be an interest-based CTA. So flip around the solution. So it should be the problem, solution, interest-based CTA. That's it. Okay. Now the actual text with regards to the problem and the solution, given the landlord's commitment to providing an outstanding digital fashion experience could help elevate your customer service operations similar way of offering for us. So I don't know how this actually highlights a problem. Like, what's the problem that Zalando is facing right now? Or where's the personalization here, I guess?
Okay, but how would I find out that sort of information not through a cold call? Because I thought, cold calling is when you're probing for the pain points, but how would you do that pre-email?
Yeah, so you have to just do general research online. There's a few ways to do it. The easiest way to do it, the fastest way, and it's the most lazy way. You can use ChatGPT. So what I would do is use a prompt for ChatGPT and be like, hey, I need you to find the most recent information on the biggest challenges that Zalando is facing with regards to customer experience, and give me those challenges in 3 bullet points. Highlight the top 3 biggest ones, pick the biggest challenge, and then align it with your solution, right? Because the problem is here, right? Maybe customer satisfaction ratings is not their biggest problem. Maybe it's the ticket volume. Maybe it's the number of tickets that are coming in, right?
I did find some information that said, let me just try and find it. It said something like, they have a certain amount of users and 80% of that traffic is through their website or something like that. So it was a lot of users going through that channel. I don't know if you can imply.
I don't think that's a great piece of information though, because it's an e-commerce website. So you can imagine that 80 to 90% of them would be through the website, right? What you need to do is firstly shorten the solution bit. So again, find out the one big challenge that Zalando is facing, and then pick one stat. It could be the customer satisfaction rating, or it could be the volume, it could be the reduced response rate, or it could be the ticket or the number of tickets, right? And then align the problem that they're facing with your solution by picking one solution, just one thing that you help people do, and then update your CTA. You just have to do research and then obviously find that information out, right?
Okay.
Again, the actual English is too formal. The problem is with really formal emails, it looks like a sales email. That's the problem. It shouldn't be this formal. So for example, best regards or looking forward to hearing from you. You don't need any of that. Trust me, like you can research this and find this information out for yourself, but cold emails that get responses don't look super professional. They look like the kind of email that a friend would send you. And obviously that doesn't mean you should be having spelling mistakes or grammar mistakes, but like super, super basic, to the point, one problem, one solution, one call to action.
Okay. I have just found a bit. It says, Zalando are facing several key challenges in enhancing its customer experience, primarily due to the complexity of handling vast amounts of customer data and maintaining a seamless experience across multiple channels. Is that useful enough? Oh, here we go. It says, especially during high traffic events like Cyber Week, where Zalando handled up to 100,000 requests a second.
Boom, there you go. That's good info. So you could use that as a challenge. You could be like, given the upcoming website traffic in Q4, you can imagine that you're going to be dealing with hundreds of thousands of customers per second. We've helped customers maintain their customer satisfaction ratings or use that stats in busy periods like Christmas or Q4 with our product, because it does this particular thing.
Okay.
CTA, which is interest based, bam, that's it.
Okay.
Right, so you could use Q4 and the fact that they deal Q4, the Christmas or the upcoming Christmas period, as like a trigger, right? Because a lot of these e-commerce brands, you have to remember, they actually get stock ready in Q2 and Q3 well before Q4, right? Because they sell thousands of percents more in Q4 than they do in Q1 and Q2. So that could be the trigger. The trigger is Q4 is around the corner, October next month, they're going to start getting ready to ensure that your customer satisfaction ratings don't fall or don't go below your standards. We help you with that. We've helped this particular brand. Would you be against the site? Can I send you this particular case study or simple interest CTA?
Yeah, someone makes a good point there. Black Friday is upcoming as well. It's another.
Yeah, but pick one. Either Black Friday, Boxing Day, Christmas Day, whatever. And obviously, it's a German company, right? So I don't know if they have the same holidays as the UK, right? So maybe they won't have Black Friday, but they probably have the equivalent of that in Germany, right? So literally do that. Pick one problem, one solution, one simple interest-based CTA.
Okay.
With the cold call, this one's actually really simple, the actual cold call, because when you call, you can be like, hey, Alex, Dan calling from this company, was just calling to follow up on the email that I sent you a couple of days ago. Did you have the chance to check it out? He's going to be like, yeah. And you can be like, great. And then you have a conversation, and then there's going to be one or two objections. And then you just have to handle one or two of those objections to move to the next step, confirm a time, confirm who should be attending the call, confirm the availability of everybody, send over the email. That's the cold call. The actual cold call is actually very simple because you've sent him an email already, so you have a reason to call the guy. That's basically where you have to say in your actual call exercise. The only thing you have to get a good script for is objections. So he's going to be like, "Oh, I'm not interested," or "I don't have time," or "I'm in a meeting," or one of those three basic objections that keep coming up.
Right. Okay.
Or calls.
Yeah, I think the only difference. Go on. Sorry.
The script that I gave you, the Netflix script, the one that I used for my job interview, use that script because it basically deletes all of these objections. Like literally use that script. The beginning you change obviously. Hey Alex, I emailed you a couple of days ago. Did you get the chance to check it out? Boom.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. I think the only difference with this, role play, I think the fact is they've given me the information that he hasn't seen my
he hasn't seen your
email already. Yeah.
That's fine. He could be like, "Hey, Alex, just calling from whatever XYZ company. The reason for the call is that I emailed you a couple of days ago. I'm not sure if you I don't think you saw it, but I just wanted to give you a call about that." And then you go into the questions. If he doesn't give you an objection, if he gives you an objection, like, "Oh, sorry, I'm in a meeting," handle that objection.
Yeah.
Go into the questions phase. We ask a couple of questions.
Yeah.
Handle a few objections, and then you set solid next steps, which is a meeting for a particular day, a particular time, and particular people need to be on that exact meeting.
Okay. All right. Perfect.
Awesome.
I'm gonna get writing that email then. I think because I have to have that in by midday tomorrow.
Yeah. Feel free to share it in the paid community WhatsApp chat. I can review it again for you before the call, before the actual interview. But honestly, they're just looking for a few things. You can handle objections. You can have a conversation. You can have a conversation, particularly relatively well, and you can set next steps in a confident, structured way that everyone is clear about on that cold call. The cold email, one problem, one solution, one call to action. It should not be formal, not formal stuff, very not informal, but the way that you would talk to your friend. That's it. I've done thousands of these emails and these sorts don't get replies, but when you're super focused and simple, they get replies.
Okay. Do you have any to hand, any of the emails you've used?
I can try and get you, I think in the paid community drive, we have some scripts, but I can try and send you some if you haven't seen it. I can try and send you a template.
Yeah, it's basically just for reference, so I can.
Yeah. I'll try and send you some. Yeah, I'll try and send you some.
Okay, thanks for that. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Good luck. Keep us posted. Let us know how you get on. And yeah, good luck.
I will do. Thank you. Have a good one, both.
Take care. Okay, guys, we're going to go on for another 10 to 15 minutes. Is there any other questions, or does anyone else want to jump on the live?
No, but Pav is on.
Hey, Pav, how's it going? Do you need help for your oncoming interview? Were there any other questions whilst I was talking to Dan? Excuse me.
They've probably all gone off now, so I don't know if anybody has more questions.
That's fine. Yeah, I mean, look, the reason for that call, guys, was to get our student Dan ready for his interview tomorrow, right? And obviously, usually what we do is more like a Q&A type of live call, but today was a little bit different because whenever some of our students, they have interviews, we want to make sure they're ready. So yeah, Pav doesn't need any guidance on his assessment center. The assessment center is next week. That's fine. Does anyone else have any final questions before we end the call? Welcome, Ethan.
Yeah, someone's asking how long did you study tech? We didn't.
So I studied international business management for my undergrad, and then I did a master's in entrepreneurship and tech, but it wasn't deep tech. It was more like how to build stuff, no code, like how to use no code tools to build applications and like web pages and web apps and stuff like that, but only for like a couple of months, to be totally honest with you. So we didn't really study like software engineering or programming or stuff like that.
Yeah, my background is law. I was a lawyer and then I got into tech sales.
Yeah. So that's the good thing with tech sales. Like, you don't actually need a particular background. I would say you need two things, right? A degree, ideally, number one. Number two, some customer-facing types of experience, like whether that's working in a call center or like a door-to-door sales job or a customer service role, or anywhere where you had to interact with people a lot or customers a lot, and really had to convince people to do a certain type of thing that you wanted them to do. Yeah. Was there any other questions?
Are there any part-time tech?
No, there's no part-time tech sales jobs. No, these are professional jobs. Imagine working at Google part-time. There's no part-time tech sales jobs. Was there like, when you scroll up, there was lots of questions before, wasn't there?
Yeah, but I don't know if they're still on now.
That's fine. We can just quickly cover a few of them. Do you mean degree in uni? Yeah. So I studied international business management. Yeah. Let me just share a script with Dan. Download.
So Time was asking, what do you think of the dojo sales roles? Have you seen those?
What is a dojo sales role?
Sounds like Doja Cat. Do you know who Doja Cat is?
Yeah, singer, yeah.
Yeah. Is a computer.
Yo, Michael, how's it going, bro? Been some time. Are you still looking into tech sales roles? Oh, okay. Sorry, Dojo's point of payment card machines. So I actually interviewed with a company called Square, which is a fintech company. They also have points of payments machines as well. Really good company to get into. I got rejected, unfortunately. This was back in February 2024, before I started my current role. I think they're good companies to work for. I just feel like selling point of sales machines is not the most interesting job in the world, in my opinion, right? So I personally wouldn't work. Square is different because it's like a big fintech company, right? So like companies like Square, PayPal, or Stripe, they're actually interesting, even though they sell similar stuff. But I personally wouldn't want to work in a company where they sell hardware like points of sales machines or whatever. Like, I don't think that's interesting. You know, I would rather work in the next frontier, which is Web3, AI, machine learning, robotics, pharmaceutical companies that are inventing the new drugs that are going to change the world, manufacturing, like car manufacturers like Tesla, or space-related companies. You know, there's companies that are being created right now that are going to mine planets and on other places throughout the universe, right? So those are like super interesting companies to work for, because that's like fascinating, you know what I mean? And if you have all of those options, why would you want to work for a points of sales machines company? That's just my opinion, of course, no disrespect. It's just like, I don't know if it's that interesting.
Elle is asking, I got a call yesterday for a position, however, they haven't contacted me again. Should I reach out?
You just had a call yesterday, or?
For a position. Like, what was it? Was it a recruiter reaching out to you? Or was it...
The thing with recruiters is, by the way, like, I swear to God, I'll share my LinkedIn to people one day. We already do in our community. By the way, if you're not in our community, DM Laura and she'll get you inside our community. If you have an established LinkedIn profile, and I'm sure some people do here, right? And I'm sure you get loads of recruiters reaching out to you. The vast majority of them are taking the piss. They're not serious. So of course you should call them if it's a really good job that you really want, because they talk to potential candidates all day. So you were probably the 15th person that guy spoke to. So he probably forgot about you. So you should definitely call him if you really want that job, right? Because they're so busy, these recruiters.
Does your company offer apprenticeship routes or internships, as university is not a be-all and end-all? Not everyone goes to university.
Yeah, my company doesn't. But big tech companies like Google, Amazon do. Check out a company called Multiverse. They are like a big tech company in the UK that offers apprenticeship programs to young people from disadvantaged backgrounds.
I'm 31, no sales experience. Am I cooked? Can I get into tech sales?
Sorry?
So someone's saying, I'm 31, no sales experience. Am I cooked? Can I get into tech sales?
Well, what's your experience? I don't think your age matters, to be honest with you. Like, I don't know why it matters if you're 31.
He's saying, or he or she is saying they don't have sales experience.
Well, what is your experience? If you come from another really good career like law, finance, medicine, even if you were in the army, like you have to have an interesting career or interesting experiences to break in. So he's saying no experience, no degrees. Okay, great, amazing, love that. All right. So yeah, you have to have an interesting background or an interesting work experience to break into tech sales. They pay people a lot of money. Why would they pay you a lot of money, right? Like, what do you bring to the table?
Is computer science degree good for programming jobs?
Yep.
That's such a funny response. I don't have experience in tech. How do I go about it? Well, what experience do you have?
If you don't know how to go about it, by the way, DM Laura. We have a community. We have a free community and a paid community. In the free community, we've had loads of people get jobs. It takes them on average a little bit longer to get a job. But obviously, we have a paid community where we work with you in an intensive program and help you get a job within 3 months. And that's basically, that includes daily coaching calls, Sunday group coaching calls, referrals to hiring managers, referrals to recruiters, CV templates, interview recordings, and everything else you could possibly imagine with regards to breaking into tech jobs. We don't specialize in technical tech jobs. We specialize in commercial tech jobs, as I work in tech sales and I have for the last 4 years. And Laura just started working in tech sales. So we don't help people break into technical roles in tech companies, but more like commercial roles in tech companies.
After my computer science degree, can I look into software engineering jobs?
Say that again.
After my computer science degree, can I look into software engineering jobs? So they think that we do all tech jobs. It's just tech.
Yeah, no, not just tech sales, but like commercially focused roles in tech companies.
What's that noise?
I have no idea. Okay, guys, does anyone else want to jump in? By the way, Timo, DM me on WhatsApp, man. I want to have a quick chat with you because I think you're a software engineer, right? We want to potentially have you in there as one of the guys that helps other people with their tech career journey, because you seem to have worked in tech for a long time. So definitely DM me or Laura on WhatsApp and we can have a quick conversation in the coming days. And thank you so much for obviously being on these live calls and supporting us. Really appreciate it. Does anyone else have any questions with regards to breaking into tech? Or do you want to join in as a guest? Feel free to hop in as a guest. We can have a proper conversation and help you out. By the way, we do this every Thursday at 8 p.m. UK time. So every Thursday at 8 p.m. UK time for about half an hour to an hour. The reason that it's an hour today is because one of our students, Dan, has an interview tomorrow for a 40K SDR job, 60K OTE. So obviously we had to make sure we help him because we want him to get that job. So that's the usual process. But yeah, feel free to DM Laura if you want to join the community. Follow Laura if you want to join these lives every Thursday at 8 p.m. UK time. Does anyone else have any final questions?
Musa said that no degree but have experience in tech from college. What routes to take for the remote jobs in tech? How old are you? And what other experience do you have? What tech experience do you have?
Yeah.
It's a bit difficult to say, like, when we only have a little bit of information.
Yeah.
I think, one second.
Experience in programming. Yeah, by the way, for people at uni or in college, the easiest way to break into like big tech companies or big jobs is to get internships. So I had an internship at Google in 2019. I had an internship at RBS in 2019. I had an internship at L'Oreal in 2019. I did 3 different internships, right? And obviously that really helped solidify my CV. So if you're at university right now, definitely try to break into internships, spring weeks, placement years, blah, 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 because that's going to make it super easy for you to quickly break into those companies after you graduate. Otherwise, you're dealing and competing with everybody else that's applying as well. That's a really quick hack. What's that?
So somebody is asking, do you think volunteering for low pay or even free would get you a role and experience and work?
I don't understand why you would have to do that. Why would you have to work for free or volunteering to break into a tech job? I don't understand. This is not inventing AI, or this is not creating the cure for cancer. This is like, again, no disrespect. You shouldn't need to do that, right? You just need to have a good strategy in place, have a good CV, have a good LinkedIn, network with recruiters, network with people that work at those companies, and get yourself in, right? You meant for experience. So for experience, then yeah, do it, right? If you need to do that, then do that. I personally don't think you need to do that, because a lot of these tech companies hire hundreds of thousands of entry-level people every single day. I mean, the guy that was on the call before, Dan, he just graduated university, right? And he went to a very normal university, Liverpool University. It's a very average university. So if someone like him can actually do that at 22, you should easily be able to do that.
Amara's asking, is the job hard?
Yeah, I'll be honest, the job is pretty hard, right? Because the problem with any... so everyone knows what a sales job is here, right? But the thing is, a lot of people, when they think about sales, they're like, oh my God, the Wolf of Wall Street, or going door-to-door knocking and selling some bullshit, fake, scammy MLM thing. That's not what tech sales is. Tech sales is basically selling software, enterprise software, to other businesses. So for example, if you work at Google, you sell Google Cloud to SMBs and enterprises, and everybody needs a cloud infrastructure to host their data and files, right? So that's an example. It is pretty hard because Google is competing in the same market, Amazon, Oracle, Adobe, blah, 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 SAP, everybody else. So you're competing with hundreds of other big tech companies, and you have to convince your customer to work with you compared to AWS, Oracle, SAP, etc. So of course it's hard, it's really difficult, but that's why they pay really good money, right? And it's the complete opposite of what you would think a sales job is, because there's no door-to-door knocking. Unless you're in a shit company, you don't have to do that much cold calls, especially as you progress. And you don't use those little manipulative scripts or cold calling hacks or any of that bullshit. None of that shit works when you're selling a $5 million a year software. It works when you're selling a $100 charity subscription thing, but it doesn't work when you're selling it to the biggest executives on the planet and you're selling a $6 million a year contract for software, right? So in a way, it's not even like a sales role. It's more like consulting. You're consulting companies to buy from your company compared to another company. Yeah, exactly. It is obviously commission. It's obviously you have a base salary and then you have loads of commission. With the hours, I would kind of disagree. It depends on what kind of company you work for, because when I did my internship at Google in 2019, Google is known, or a company like Google is known for having a really good work-life balance. So if you work for a big tech company, the work-life balance is relatively good. If you work for a really small company like a startup, then yeah, the hours are super long, right? Like, really, really long. It's still a lot less hours than corporate finance and corporate law or, stuff like that. Commission is based on hitting your targets. So for example, if you're an SDR, BDR, level 1, entry level in tech sales, your commission is based on you usually get required to book 1 to 2 sales qualified meetings per week. So if you hit those numbers, you get the commission So for example, 40K base, 20K on OTE. So if you get those 2 meetings a week, you get the extra 20K. But the good thing is, if all of a sudden you book 4 meetings a week or 10 meetings a week, then you get a lot more than that. So it's usually uncapped. But obviously you always have your base salary to cover you for that. I always say, and I've learned this from people where they say, live on your base, like, and live well, and then save your commissions. But I would never really rely on commissions, right? Like, that's why it's always important to go to a good company with a really good base salary and not be super excited about the commission structure, because, you know, not everyone's going to hit their on target earnings. And in fact, when you're doing the interview, you should ask the company how many salespeople hit targets last year, how many people are expected to hit targets this year, what was your revenue targets last year, how close did you got to that number, etc., etc., etc. Like, that's super, super important, because if there's 100 salespeople and only one of them out of 200 is hitting the targets, then it's probably not a good place to work. Because most of the time, by the way, selling and closing a deal, 80 to 90% of the time is outside your control. It's the product, the company, the market, the legal, procurement, finance, everything, contract. So you only have like a couple of percent control of the deal, right? So you have to be at the right company at the right time, in the right location, selling the right product to the right people. If you don't, you're screwed.
Somebody was actually asking, how difficult is it to hit your targets every month?
Yeah. What's more interesting is, this guy said, I know that some account managers can hit 8 figures in commission. So I personally haven't heard of 8 figures in commission. I've definitely heard of people making tech sales 7 figures, so like 1 to 10 million. That's what I've heard at companies like SAP, Oracle, AWS, HP, Doctrace. That's where you can make the big money. But obviously that takes about 10 to 20 years to get to, because you start off as an SDR, as a BDR, you're there for 1 to 2 years, an account executive for 3 to 4 years, enterprise account executive for 5 to 10 years. Then when you close the biggest deals that are 50 to 100 million, then you can make those big commissions.
Do companies train you up well?
Yeah, so that's a good question, because if you end up at the wrong company, you will get no training and you'll be fucked. Like, the rest of your career will be wrecked in tech sales. So I would always recommend people that are new, try and go into a big tech company that is very well known for their training regimen. So companies like Gartner, companies like AWS, companies like SAP, companies like Oracle. These are big behemoths of tech companies that are world class in their training regimen. So you have a ramp period for a couple of months, and then you have to start hitting your targets. But of course, they train you just like they train you for any other job, right?
Can I still get a tech sales job without a degree?
Yeah, it just makes it much harder, but yeah, you can. Mustafa is one of our paid community students. He's 19. He has an interview coming up with Gartner. We've helped PackCheck. We did an interview with him on YouTube for about 40 minutes. He's never been to university. He just finished high school, was a software engineer for 6 months, got a tech sales role, 75K on target earnings, fully remote. So yeah, it's possible. It just makes it much harder. So you have to be more creative. You have to spend more time interviewing, and you have to spend more time applying, but you can definitely get into it still.
Job options limited if you don't live in or near London. Well, Milan works for an American company. I work for a London-based company. I guess if some of them are hybrid, so I guess it depends, right? Where can I find the link for what? 7928. Oh, support group for students who finish uni. It's not a support group for students who finished uni. It's a community to help people land tech roles. If you DM me, I'll send you the link.
All right, guys, we're going to end it in 5 minutes. Any final questions? Any final questions, guys? Any final questions? Or was anyone else brave enough to come on the live as a guest? All right, cool. I think we'll just end it now. Guys, we do this every Thursday at 8 p.m. UK time. So if you still want to join, follow Laura, put the notifications on, DM Laura for the guide, where you can actually learn a lot more about breaking into tech sales step by step. We've already helped over 100 people in the last 12 months. So DM Laura for more details. Until next Thursday, take care.
Also, sorry, before we go, if you see any of my fake accounts, please can you block them and report them?
Yeah.
Because they block me, so I never know that they exist.
Yeah. All right, guys. Take care. Take care. Take care. Take care. God bless. God bless. God bless. God bless.